Hello again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your match reaction show. I'm, of course, your host, the Gov, coming to you in absolutely widescreen. I don't know why it does that to me sometimes, but there we go. We are coming to you wide. What are your thoughts this evening? Obviously, ITFC coming from 2 down to draw 2-2. Do let me know what you're thinking, you're feeling. If you're watching on catch up, FTA, comment for that algorithm. And we are partnered with Stowmarket Osteopaths. Don't live life in pain. Give Freddie a call. 01449613633, I think. Do you know what? I've just had an absolute. We scored 2 goals, come from 2 behind to draw away at Everton, and my mind's just gone completely blank on the number. I will research it. Keep your eyes and ears peeled. If you want to Google it, let me know. I should know it. But joining me first of all is Steve. Steve, welcome in. What are your thoughts this afternoon?
Well, to start the game off, I wasn't, before the game started, obviously expectations were low. I think for most of us, the expectations now were low. I was just hoping that we didn't get a sending off, and we played well. And to be fair, we didn't get a sending off, and we played well. Were the 2 sloppy goals that we conceded? Yes. I don't know why nobody pressed on either of them. You know what I mean? I can sort of get it with the first one because they blocked the shot, and then I don't think anybody had time to, press. The second one, commentators to me didn't say there was a deflection. There was a nick on that because the ball changed in mid-flight. I think there was a nick.
You feel it was a nick? You feel it was a nick on the ball?
It caught the player, and I'm sure it changed trajectory. I might be wrong, but I think it did. Yeah, and I think that's what wrong-footed the keeper. But regardless, we should have been pressing him there. He shouldn't have been allowed to shoot.
He had the freedom of the midfield there, didn't he? Literally, I don't think it was a town player in 45 or 6 yards of him, really. He had the freedom of the field. And if it doesn't take a deflection, it's obviously a fantastic shot with bend and whip. Should Palmer be doing better if it doesn't take a deflection? I know you say you think it does, but if it doesn't, for those that say that it doesn't, like the commentator, should he have done better, or was the shot such a ferocious shot with bend on it?
If it didn't, I think he should have done better. But I'm sorry, that's just the way the keeper was. He looked wrong-footed.
Okay,
because he was ready to go one way, and then it like took a nick, and he was like wrong-footed, so he didn't do anything. So that's what makes me think more it was a deflection, a slight nick, than anything else. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't be in a position where the goalkeeper's your last line of defence. If you keep letting your last line of defence, you're going to concede goals. It needs to be other people who were the first line of defence, second line of defence, third line of defence. And if they're not doing their jobs all the time, and you're leaving it to the last line of defence, the goalkeeper's not going to save them all. So because all it takes is a shot like that. We know that from scoring goals. All it takes is a little nick or a little funny curl or a little bit of bend, and your goalkeeper's beaten. So you just can't allow shots like that from outside the area. It was a brilliant shot. Don't get me wrong, it was, but we shouldn't be allowing him to shoot from there because I don't think we played badly even before those goals and after those goals. I don't think we played bad. Everton were pretty awful. I think we had much the better of the game and the better chances. They had a lot of possession and offered nothing but crosses. And, I think for me, watching it, I do think that we actually had probably most of the better chances. So I think we played well. I'm happy we played well. We need to start getting, we've got these two tough games out of the way, which nobody really had much faith in. And we've got some games now which we're capable of getting something out of it. And I think let's just try our best in every single one of these games and try and give us some confidence going into next season because, it's been a hard season. And if we can get any little bit of confidence, like that game will give the lads a lot of confidence coming from 2-0 down. And that's what we need going into next season. So we're not going out with a whimper. We're proving we've got some fight in us. And I like that.
Absolutely. All right, Steve. Who's your stand-up performer this afternoon before I let you get on with your Saturday night enjoying a 2-2 draw?
Oh, stand-up performer. I'm probably going to have to go and see so because I think he was lively. I know there was a lot of debate about whether he should start for Clark, and I think he was lively. And I think at the end of the day, it proved why he started for Clark for me. Is he our player? We're going to keep him next season? No, but he can do that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that was a game where we needed someone to be able to do that because we were struggling. I do say, and I'll go back to it, you know, yeah, I've changed my mind on this. Yeah, our midfield looks invisible. It really does. I'm sorry. Half the time, it looked like there was no midfield there at all. And that really needs sorting in the summer because it looks awful.
On Enciso, Ipswich Jules here has a question before I let you go. How much would you pay for Enciso? He's still rough around the edges for Premier League right now, but a season with McKenna in the Championship, he will be mustard, said Ipswich Jules.
I agree, but it won't happen because, as far as I'm aware, I think last time Brighton priced him, he was 50 million. So I think we can roll that one out.
Okay. All right. There we go. Answers that one. Steve, appreciate you coming on the show. Look after yourself. Look after yourself. All the best. Michael says, no, Alex says Hurst is a more. Oh, sorry, Steve, I'm thinking about it. Alex still Hurst is a more complete and currently a better striker than Delap. Do you agree with that one? There we go. Let's take me off widescreen. Don't like being on widescreen. Sharon, we have to sort out. We absolutely, Sharon, 110%. I agree with you. We absolutely have to sort our set pieces out. Yes, we do. I've been saying it since October, and I want to cry every time we get one because I just know it ain't gonna happen for us. We have to sort out our set. Sorry, I'll read Sharon's full comment out now. We have to sort out our set pieces, and we have to keep Hurst next season. On that topic, Andy says at least a goal will increase Hurst's asking price if any promoted teams try and poach him. Rob says, to be fair, McNeil was a quality plan. We gave him far too much space all over the pitch. Alex says, agrees, looks a better left back than centre back. Big Al, Amari Hudson's relegation rescores is 35 million. Would you pay it? Big Al. Oh, man, out of focus. Well, that is the question. Andy said we need to stop gifting goals to position. We've been doing it for a long time. Sam thinks the lap has already checked that. I disagree with that, Sam. Disagree 110%. Hudson played well, says banger after banger. Still love the username. Trevor says Delap's a great talent, but Hurst is a better team player. Lee, what are your thoughts this afternoon?
Yeah, it's an enjoyable game. I enjoyed it. One of the better games, particularly away from home, that I've enjoyed this season. Pretty even in the end, and I agree. What was said earlier about, I think we had the better chances and we looked more like the team to go on and get the winner when we got back to 2-2. But we're fragile Ipswich, aren't we? And you always feel that one of those free kicks at the end is going to be nodded in and we're going to concede another last sort of minute goal. But no, thoroughly enjoyed the game. I agree with Beep around the midfield. Our midfield is non-existent.
What are your thoughts on Jack Taylor, Lee, today? So you got what was it in the end? I think 81 minutes, I think, from memory.
Yeah.
Got the start. What are your thoughts? I know earlier in the week, Lee, just to nip into that question, earlier in the week, he's saying obviously the goal next year is to be a regular starter. What are your thoughts on today, but also the long term of Jack Taylor?
Well, I think we've got to keep him. Why wouldn't we? If the club, I'm not sure who's going to buy him. I don't see why we would not keep him. He wants to push to be a starter. I don't think on his own he's the real issue. I mean, I've said before that Morsey's old enough, is too old now. He can't get around the pitch enough, and after his booking, he's then got to lose another yard. He's got to take another half a yard of what he's got left, and that opens you up. You could see at the end of the game that, I know it's towards the end of the game, but when we had Kajuston and Phillips, we pretty much run the midfield, and it was more of an even contest. So, for Jack, for Taylor next to Morsey, that's a little bit more difficult. I'd like to have seen him against a fully fit, next to fully fit Phillips or something like that, because I think Taylor's more of that number 8 midfielder, and I would like to see him in more of like an old Frank Lampard role. I think he should be arriving late in the box, and he's a goal threat. But I think because of the standard in the Premier League, he's got to sit in and hold in that 2 midfield. So he's not. I don't think he's being used to the best of his talent, if you see what I mean. Perhaps in the Championship, he can play that. I mean, he's played the number 10 role, I think. So but he did okay. But it's But I agree. We're going to need a new midfield, aren't we?
Talking that long term, ball and blue, I feel the squad we have, we can replicate Burnley next year and not Luton, who obviously sadly today were relegated. Congratulations to Luton fans. What are your thoughts on that? 100, I think it was 100 points in the end for Burnley. I kind of don't want any talk of us sort of doing a Luton, because I think I can't say for sure we're in a better place, but I trust the ownership, I trust them, the management, I trust obviously Ashton, and I think if you've got trust in those places, Lee, you kind of expect us not to do a Luton. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, nothing's a given in football, but you would think with the way the club has been run since the ownership took over, and since McKenna's been in, and it's not just about McKenna, it's about the whole club and everything behind it, the backup. I can't see us. We're different to Luton in that Luton couldn't spend the money. They didn't really invest in the same way as what we have done, and they didn't. I mean, I might be wrong, but I'm not sure they spent a lot when they went down. So they've lost the players that they. I think they've lost some of their better players. A lot of those were on loan. We've built for the future, and I always go back to the point about, there's two arguments now. We've been relegated, and there's the other. One argument is, well, we're investing for the future, and we've done what we've done. The other side of the coin is, well, we should have got a few more Premiership experience, paid a little bit more money or such like. But we'd be stuck with those wages, wouldn't we, in the Championship?
Yeah.
And what if you can't move those players on? They're a real drain. So I just think the way the club's run, I don't think we will do a Luton. Do we have to be humble and and respectful of the league? Of course we do, and we should be pushing for the. We should be pushing at the top end of the table, which I no doubt we will be. But it's nothing is a given in football. But you can see that, you can see the gap in the Premier League. We've learned that. I've learned that as much because I thought, well, we might get 40, 45 points, and then after the season goes on, you think, oh, you can see the goal, but you can see the gulf at the top of the Championship.
Sure, yeah.
2 teams on 100 points, and one of those hasn't even got parachute payments anymore. I think it's Leeds. And I think we're in a better place.
They may have been there last year for parachutes this year.
Yeah, that is a really small amount, though, isn't it? It's a real.
It does
real
get
small amount.
It does get less the second year.
Something like a quarter of the 100 million or whatever.
I'd have to look it up.
But I think apart from Luton, everybody that goes down is up there.
Generally, yeah, that is the general.
Yeah, I mean Norwich won.
Yes.
I mean Norwich have slowly slipped away, haven't they? But they didn't invest, I don't think, in the same way as what we have. We're still investing for the future. We're on a journey that is different to other clubs. So I'm really positive about next season. Of course, there's going to be a few bumps, but we're not going to do a Luton. I can't see that. I can't see that.
Yeah. Who was your standout performer today, Lee?
Well,
and he called you Leeds there. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Palmer was at fault for the goal.
Do you think so? Do you think so?
Absolutely. I certainly swerved a little bit. He's on his back. He's on his. There's no deflection whatsoever. He's got to do a little bit better than that. He'll be disappointed anyway. I'm sure.
Yeah.
You won't see a Man City goalkeeper or a Liverpool goalkeeper conceding a goal like that. You just won't.
No.
And if that had been Muric, everyone would be in meltdown. and so Palmer. I just wanted to mention that about Palmer. I thought everyone did well, but I mean you can't knock Enciso for his goal and his effort. But I thought Amari did all right when he came on, and I like the shape. We've gone back to that sort of Chaplin in the number 10 role, that sort of league, what we call the League One in the Championship. And I think that was forced upon us because we had to play 4 centre-backs. So I'm not really answering the question, am I? But I think Enciso, and I like Rob Chandler's comment. He is, I guess, that luxury player, and he is frustrating. But let's not forget, he's just scored probably goal of the season. If that's not in the final goal of the season, I'm not sure what Premier League I've been watching. I mean, that make Cajusta's goal a tapping.
Yeah, it was a really good goal. Just to clarify, it was Rich Chandler, not the brilliant broadcaster Rob Chandler.
Oh, did I say Rob Chandler?
You said Rob Chandler. All love Rob Chandler on the channel, but if you can't credit him with that one, it was definitely Rich Chandler.
Sorry, Rich. I did you a disservice there, didn't I? Yeah, so I would say Enciso, but I think Jack Clark's starting to come into his own. He's had a better second half of the season.
Yeah, true.
When he's come on, I think he's doing okay. So it's all bright for the future.
Lee, so also it's bright. It's Saturday night, so enjoy it. Have a great one, all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm on the Pims.
Good. Oh, I love a good glass of Pimm's. Look after yourself. No, it's not. Okay, well, if so, put the Pimm's down. You've had enough Pimm's and think it's Christmas. Look after yourself, mate. All the best. We've got Boris being promoted to the Premier League, not the same as good. Being promoted to the Premier League, not the same as good enough for Premier League. Boris says, management have no clue. Cheers from Bulgaria, and cheers for the 10. We did look this up. Oh, I've forgotten it again. I'm so sorry, Boris. One ball. Ashton said, but thank you very much for the 10. The £10 super. I'll say £10, but £10 super chat. One ball. Ashton said, well protected, so pants to online report to get clicked. Oh, okay. I think it's talking about the lap. One ball. Is that the lap thing you're talking about? Let's try and bring back not Rob Chandler, Rich Chandler, who says, and C says, reminds him of a bit like a Selena. Is that right, Rich? I need to call you Rob myself.
Yeah, I'll 100% take being called Rob Chandler, by the way. Just want to throw that out. But Hurst was fantastic yet again. And people have been saying, Matt Phillips and you, potentially, have said that he isn't as good, but he will score more than enough goals in the championship. We don't need to worry about getting a mainline striker. We've got Schmodics and Chaplin and Broadhead who can all play behind him. We don't need another number 9.
Not another number. Well, no, we definitely need another striker, Rich. You will never sway me from that, because George Hurst, not through any fault of his own, hasn't obviously avoided the injury bug. Then again, no one has this year. You need that insurance policy. You need that player to push him. You need him to push that player. For me, 100%, you need to buy a striker, regardless if you think George Hurst is, going to be the next Liam Delap in 2 years. You need a striker, Rich. You won't move me from there.
First injury record is massively over-exaggerated, because actually, how many games did he miss from injury this season?
But by the way, Lewis says, Rich, you're so far behind, we've just got promoted, by the way, so you might want to celebrate this evening.
It's not many. It's not many.
Okay, so if you did it over the last 3 years, because he's been injured, he was injured last season. He was injured last season. And equally, what is the issue with getting another striker and letting best man win?
He missed about 15 games last season.
Right. Which, okay, so if they're 15
I'd rather we invested in midfield.
Why can't you do both?
I'd rather we invested in midfield. I don't think we need to invest in a number 9 when we've got one that will help us get promoted. Why are people worried about the championship?
That's a great question. And I'll let the comments answer that, because, Rich, there's a big delay. Hopefully, you'll come back to us another day when you've got your internet working. Remember, don't buy your internet from Matt Phillips. We keep telling people this. They never listen. Rich, we appreciate you coming on the show, though. Look after yourself. We've got Mike D. We need another striker anyway, whether Hurst is fit or not. That was my argument there. UPIA, solidify. It's a big word on a Saturday. What are you doing to me, people? The midfield in the summer will be fine at both ends of the pitch next season. Steven said it had been overhyped, but he did miss big moments. Trevor, he hasn't been playing. That's why he's not been injured. I suppose there's some truth in that, I guess. Joe says, because the championship is relentless. This is like getting the points from the Eurovision Song Contest. Oh, it truly is. That's coming around, actually. I'm a big Eurovision fan. I like the song this year. I think it won't win, obviously, but I think it won't finish with 0 points, which is kind of the aim, really, isn't it? Which is a bit like Ipswich, trying to win the race for third from bottom. Obviously, Leicester won today. They beat Southampton. Of course they did. Everyone beat Southampton except Ipswich. So, yeah, we'll see where that goes. But we are back tomorrow. Don't forget, Talking Town, more in-depth reaction. You never know. We might get Rich Chandler back with a brand new internet. Sam says, don't underestimate the championship. Who'd seen Luton getting back? Yeah, I don't want to think about that. I think we're in a slightly better place than Luton, who I feel really sorry for today, because they won through. I think they won through on the bounce recently, put themselves in the conversation of staying up, and it's never nice. Well, as we know, we were relegated this year, relegated a couple of years ago. It's never nice. Paul P, we can't take promotion next year for granted. Plenty of teams have done that and learned a lesson the hard way. We are back tomorrow. Don't forget, conversation continues on our Discord, and we are part with Stowmarket Osteopaths, and I can confirm the number is 01449613633. Don't live life in pain. But until tomorrow, take care. I'm off to edit the show so nobody hears the Richard Chandler pauses. So when you're listening on a catch-up, you'll think, what are they talking about, all these pauses? Because there won't be any. But until tomorrow, take care. God bless. All the best. Bye-bye.